everyone has to know how they help and support our customer engagement strategy.
Hello, I've got Sue Barrett with me again. Welcome back, Sue.
Thanks, John.
Hey, Sue, I've heard you talking about selling as being everybody's business, not just one salesperson. Tell me what you mean by that.
Well, I think for far too long, businesses have just pointed the finger at and sent the sales team out and said, you're responsible for customers. In the digital world and in this sort of complex world we now live in, customers can get access to anyone by default or design across the business. But besides that, everyone has to know how they help and support our customer engagement strategy.
I can sympathise with that. As you know, I do a lot of personal branding in organisations, and I help them look at the personal brand of every person. And when you look at some of these personal brands digitally, LinkedIn and so on,
yes,
they don't reinforce, one, the company approach or the company strategy, but two, they don't even reinforce the fact that they have value to deliver to a customer. And therefore, they're not really thinking that they're part of an organisation, whether they're in sales, in consulting, in service, they have a face to the customer and the customer will be seeing them.
Absolutely. And there's a really great story that, I don't know if you saw it in Sydney, but in Melbourne, it was about a chap who was not getting much cut through with Centrelink. He was a student and he had his payments cut off. And no one was helping him at all. And he was finding it incredibly frustrating, like hours and hours of just wasted time and effort. And he knew he had been cut off inappropriately. So something must have happened. So credit to him, he went and looked on the internet and he actually found the heads of departments who were running Centrelink. And he actually made what we would call prospecting phone calls to these people to let them know about his situation and went straight to the source. So he was able to actually get results because he decided that he would just go and speak to the heads of these departments who were responsible ultimately for how the customer-facing people in this organisation were behaving and conducting themselves. So, you can wash your hands of it. I don't have to deal with the customer. But yes, you do, and we can find you. Anyone could be found. So if you want to look at it that way, you've got to be ready. But beyond that, we shouldn't have to be forced to be customer centric.
In this day and age, that whole process of the buyer moving from, hey, I think I've got a problem here, right through to ultimately make a decision. There's lots of touch points in different organisations, and if you're looking at our organisation, he or she will see information coming from a whole host of sources within our organisation. We need to make sure that they're consistent, that everybody knows their role, and we're managing that process as they're going through.
The other point, though, we need to think about as well is that selling is a life skill, not just a business skill. And it's about how we actually understand another person. So if that's internally or externally, it's a really good skill that we need to have. So quite a few of the organisations that we work with are in fact now making sure that the whole sales strategy, sales messaging, value proposition, and then some of the communication skills necessary to be effective are in fact actually communicated and, if you like, orchestrated across the entire organisation.
You find a lot of people, I'm sure you'll find this, that aren't in sales think, well, I don't want to sell. Selling's like a dirty word. But the reality is selling's about helping, selling's about giving and creating value for other people. It's not about taking.
No.
And as soon as some non-salespeople I've talked to understand that, it makes a world of difference for them.
Well, how we've been combating that as well is that we actually have this free online module that we've been giving out to people in organisations. And it's about the history, philosophy and ethics of selling.
Right.
And what it does is it scrubs everyone's brain, if you like, about what good selling actually is versus what they might perceive selling to be. And it's been amazing because when people they don't have to actually be a salesperson, but if they can appreciate and understand what good selling actually looks like and the effort that good salespeople go to do the right thing by customers and their organisation, there's this newfound respect, I find, for salespeople.
And they also know how to support the salespeople, the sales team, and you'll start getting an organisation looking like one team to the face of the customer, and that's very powerful.
Absolutely. So more work to be done, John, a lot more work to be done. But the smart companies are realising that if they make sure this is a company-wide initiative, just like safety in many organisations is mandated, and we have to have safety. I believe we should have sales as the other one in terms of how we actually mandate customer centricity and helping each other, help our customers.
We all have a sales role. We need to understand, no matter what your role is in the organisation, you are part of the overall sales team.
Yeah.
A very good message, and hopefully there's value. Salespeople and sales leaders out there, communicate this out to the rest of your team, and by all means use this video. Thank you very much, Sue.
My pleasure.